sure enough. And we are back for the first time today. We'll be commentating the top card of today's Premier Challenge, a second of the VGC 16 season here in Singapore. I am Matthew.
And I'm Isaac.
And we'll be taking you through the very first game of the top card, a match between the first seed, Loh Kit Ming, who went unbeaten during Swiss, against Nelson Lim, who creeped into the top card in 8th place. The two actually played before in Swiss, and I believe Nelson made a terrible play which cost him the victory. So we're about to see whether Nelson can take some lessons from that loss and come back stronger in this top card set.
Yeah, but Nelson was telling me either way that he's not very optimistic with his matchup against Kit. Kit has Cresselia on his team, which Nelson says he has issues with, so might be a tough game for him regardless. I hope he does recover from that mistake earlier though, given how kind of stupid it was, really, just not knowing the typing of a really crucial member of Kit's team. Pokemon we're not really seen a lot this season, yet somehow has made a decent showing today. Not performing much better than any of us would have expected it to see. So should be an interesting match either way. If not just for what Kit has in store for us today. Yeah.
So I believe both players are ready. So we're just working through a few technical issues before we begin the set. So just to let the audience know, the Pokemon we're talking about in question is actually Zygarde, which even the official Pokemon website has totally written off as a viable option for VGC play. But has made a very strong showing today, with 2 representatives in the top card, and even 1 other player sneaking into top 16 with it.
Yeah, I mean, at first glance, you think that Zygarde would be completely useless with its ability seeming to work against its typing, really. Its ability Aura Break actually reverses the effect of both Xerneas and Yveltal's abilities, changing the boost they provide into actually a reduction in damage output. So, but that doesn't really save Zygarde from Xerneas, because Zygarde is part Dragon anyway, so it's going to take a ton of damage from Xerneas' Step Fairy moves. After Geomancy, I believe Moonblast wipes it clean anyway, so although it does match up against Yveltal, it's not really common to see Yveltal. At least it's not as common as Xerneas in the format so far. So no one really expected it to work, especially with its low base stat total of 600. Yet somehow seems like a few players today have actually managed to pull it off. Yeah, which is not something even the official Pokemon website expected, as Matthew said. Dismissing Zygarde with, I believe, a statement saying that players should look to the anime if they wanted to see Zygarde, because Zygarde won't be appearing anywhere. But lo and behold, we do see it here on Kit Ming's team. And on another team in the top card, Justin Locke, he's running a Zygarde too.
So Kit Ming packing the Kangaskhan, Zygarde, Groudon, Tornadus, Cresselia, and Ferrothorn.
Save for the Zygarde, it's actually quite an ordinary looking team. All Pokemon we have seen a fair amount of so far in the format. Maybe Tornadus is a little bit unusual, but you don't really need to look any further than the top Japanese teams from Generation to Showdown to have a glimpse of what it can achieve and why players are running it. I guess its main strength actually lies in its prankster roleplay, which gives Kit Ming a weather control option, being able to copy his Groudon's ability and resetting the weather.
Though in this matchup it wouldn't matter quite as much, because Nelson isn't running the Kyogre, he's instead running the Rayquaza. Of course, Kit would obviously appreciate weather control, especially since if he wants to attack Nelson with rock attacks. But unlike if he was facing a Kyogre, I think roleplay wouldn't come into effect as much as he would like it to in this game.
Indeed, but we can't really discount Tornadus' value in this matchup, given that Nelson is running a Smeargle. Tornadus does have access to Friendster Taunt, which could help him a little bit, although he has to watch out for Crobat's Quick Guard as well. Well, either way, we're about to start the game now, so let's just see what is going to happen this turn. Okay, we see Nelson sending out his Kangaskhan and Xerneas, Rayquaza so pardon me. Quite a common lead, one I've grown to quite like as well. Definitely solid options against Kit Ming's team here, since Rayquaza's Airlock now has disabled Groudon's, essentially disabled Groudon's ability. So we'll be able to hit it with a Waterfall for what's probably a clean 1 KO.
So the question again, the question which you know very well from the previous PC, is which Mega does Nelson want to deploy in this game?
It's actually not. I don't think there's much of a question here. It'll be probably best for him to go for Rayquaza, since that gives him the option to outspeed. Oh wait, no, Nelson's actually the one running Xerneas. In that case, it's a bit. Yeah, it's actually a bit of a question. Nelson has to think through himself. I guess there are advantages to having Kangaskhan in Mega form. But at the same time, the amount of power that you lose from not Mega Rayquaza can be very significant. Especially if the game turns into a match where you need extreme speed to pick off a few weakened mons.
Does Rayquaza actually need the boost from his Mega Form to one-hit KO Groudon with the Waterfall?
No, actually. It's Life Orb Waterfall is enough.
From a regular?
Yeah, from a regular Rayquaza. Okay, but we do see Kid switch out Groudon, not wanting to take the Waterfall at all, obviously, and sends in his Crest.
Nelson does go for the Mega Kangaskhan.
Interesting. We'll have to see how that works out, because that actually gives Kid the option to steal Parental Bond from his from Nelson's Cresselia, which could help some of his other Pokemon, perhaps even his Groudon later on in the game.
Nelson's Kangaskhan Megaing first indicate that perhaps it is faster than Kid's.
Not really surprised, since we can see that...
Nelson does go for the fake out onto the Kangaskhan, which having Mega does not have the possibility of carrying no focus and will flinch for the turn, giving Rayquaza a free turn to move. Using a Dragon Ascent in his regular form, probably going into the Kangaskhan, hoping to pick up a clean KO in the first turn, which he gets.
Okay, I guess that worked out for him, but Kid got in Cresselia, which is, if you ask me, a big thing, since now the majority of Nelson's team looks quite fast. I don't really see any way that Nelson's going to be able to stop Trick Room from getting up too effectively without possibly losing something else, so bit of a question here.
Kid does bring out the Zygarde. Aura Break not going to be much function unless Nelson brings in his Xerneas at the back. But again, if Cresselia wants to get up Trick Room, it's going to have to perhaps take a double target from both the Kangaskhan and the Rayquaza, which I suppose if he has Citrus, it should be able to survive.
Not really quite sure why Kid chose to bring in Zygarde now, honestly. It doesn't really look like a good position for it. I don't think it's going to have much of a
but Zygarde goes straight for the Dragon Dance. Not afraid of anything either of Nelson's Pokemon can carry. So probably not a Trick Room coming from Kid Ming this turn.
That would be interesting to see.
Rayquaza going again for the Dragon Ascent, targeting the Cresselia, perhaps fearing the Trick Room. Are we going to see whether
going
Citrus
for the
Berry?
double target here. Does Kid's Cresselia have the Citrus Berry?
No Citrus Berry from the Cresselia. And Kanga's Double Edge will perhaps be enough to take out the Cresselia, which it does. So Kid all the way down to 2 remaining Pokemon, his Groudon and his Zygarde, though his Zygarde has boosted to a +2. And, well, since Rayquaza is not in Mega Form without access to Delta Stream, it will be taking regular damage from Zygarde's Rock Slide if he has.
But, should it be enough? Yes, it should be enough actually, after Rayquaza's taken Dragon Ascent.
It's a -2.
I don't really see a way that Kid's going to be able to pull this off regardless though.
He's going to need probably a Rock Slide flinch on the Kangaskhan.
Yeah. Despite Zygarde's presence on the field with its Aura Break, even if Nelson does have a Xerneas in the back, it's going to be a really tough game for him since, I mean, the Groudon has no way of having the speed advantage now. Quite probably it's Kid Ming's Groudon is the bulky variant.
I think Kid is aiming to just close the game out with pure offense.
But that's going to be hard to pull off with Groudon being slower, honestly, because Nelson's going to be able to get off his attacks quite more often, given that his team has the speed advantage right now.
Zygarde, of course, the fastest thing on the field right now with the Dragon Dance.
Realistically speaking, Zygarde's not going to be doing that much, even with its attack boost. Well, I guess it really depends on what moves Kid himself has chosen to run at Zygarde, but I'm not really expecting Zygarde to be able to pull this off just because of Zygarde's move pool in general.
So looks like Kid has already locked in his moves, but Nelson taking his time. And Nelson's Rayquaza goes for the Protect, not wanting to get KO'd by the Rock Slide. Are we going to see a Lens Ref? No, we see the Rock Slide coming out from the Zygarde. Is it going to hit the Kangaskhan? Yes, it does. The +1 Rock Slide not going to be enough to KO the
flinch right now could be big. But is Kid going to get it?
Zygarde revealing the Life Orb. But no flinch coming out from the Kangaskhan, who gets Double Edge off onto the Groudon. Nelson identifying the Groudon as the bigger threat. Though Precipice Blades at this point will KO the Kangaskhan.
Oh, but you see Groudon
a Fire
Punch into Kangaskhan, which is going to take it out.
Risk the miss, and probably being aware that Rock Slide would have killed the Rayquaza anyway.
Well, with Nelson's Kangaskhan is down, but like I've said, it's still a really good position for him since he has the advantage of numbers here and the speed advantage as well. Xerneas coming in here would be
any other mod. If he brings anything that's faster than Groudon, he can just easily go for extreme speed from the Rayquaza and attack.
But instead he brings out Aegislash, which is quite worrying for Kid because now he's not going to be able to use Rock Slide, and because Aegislash threatens with White Guard, probably carries it given this format, and I don't think Nelson has any reason not to use it right now. Unless Kid has some means of hitting Rayquaza through with Zygarde, perhaps Draco Meteor, I don't know. He's not going to be able to pull this off.
White Guard does come out from Aegislash, so are we going to see whether Zygarde does go for the Rock Slide, which will be blocked by the White Guard, and Rayquaza will be free to KO the Groudon with the Waterfall. A clean 1-hit KO, and at this point,
that's game for Kid. There's no way he's going to be able to get past Aegis Slash unless Nelson chooses not to go for Wide Guard for whatever reason. And regardless, that will probably be... taking out Aegis Slash will probably cost him his Zygarde anyway, so... Pretty clean sweep for Nelson. Perhaps Kid... Zygarde perhaps not really the best call in this matchup if you ask me. Kid probably have been better off perhaps bringing something else and going for the Trick Room mode, given Nelson's the high speeds of Nelson's Pokemon here. Though either way, it does look like a bit of a sketchy matchup with Wide Guard really disabling a lot of Kid Ming's Pokemon here. Kid Ming's team seems to be heavily reliant on Groudon and Zygarde attacking with their spread moves. Aegis Slash threatens that, helps prevent that from plowing through his Nelson's team. So Nelson made a good call in bringing Aegis Slash definitely. It's probably going to be the key to securing his victory here. Oh, and we do see that Dragon Ascent actually does quite little to Zygarde from probably not because Rayquaza's not in his Mega form here, but still not really what you would you wouldn't really expect. You know, one of the Pokemon which has been the butt of jokes in this format for so long to really take so little from one of the most powerful moves.
Rock Slide going on to the Aegis Slash, going to do negligible damage. But if he gets the flinch, he'll prolong this game for another turn. Lifeout actually not taking out the Zygarde.
It's kind of interesting though.
Will go for the attack.
The fact that here we did not see extreme speed from Nelson Rayquaza though, that's quite an interesting point to note. Perhaps he doesn't even run extreme speed. Otherwise you'd think that he would have gone for extreme speed now to finish off the Zygarde.
Perhaps a mixed variant on Nelson's side of the field?
Have to move.
Either Draco Meteor or Overheat.
Could be a useful tidbit for Kid though, if he took note of that.
Nelson could just not want to reveal that information with the game already sealed.
True.
So Nelson, again, like you said, taking the game very cleanly, not having to really resort to much setup. His mons just had the raw speed advantage from the very beginning. So perhaps Kid might want to go for either the Trick Room mode or even the Tailwind mode from the Tornadus.
Well, it's a tough call to make either way though, because the fact that Nelson's Aegis Slash on the field makes it hard for Kid's Trick Room mode to be fully effective. I'm guessing he'll want to bring Ferrothorn this game since Ferrothorn does match up against Nelson's restricted Pokemon very well. Probably his best option there would be to set up Trick Room and somehow or rather get his Groudon and Ferrothorn going.
Kid really only has one option to take out the Aegis Slash if he's spamming Wide Guard. It's the Fire Punch from his Groudon. Yeah,
but then again he risks firing off a Fire Punch into King's Shield, which would be really bad for his Groudon since it deprives Groudon of its offensive power. So I guess you have to find a way to play around that, and that's probably the only way he's going to be able to seal off this game. I guess it would be best for him to lead Kang, Crest, and bring Pharaoh and Groudon in the back. That's what I would do if I were running a team like his. I think it gives him the best options since Nelson didn't really seem to want to bring his Smeargle and Crobat. Wonder why.
Probably afraid of the Tornadus Taunt.
True. Well, he might switch it up, expecting Kid to bring Crest.
Maybe the Kanga Smear coming out this time around from Nelson.
And I guess it depends a lot on what item Kid is running on Crest as well. We haven't really seen it yet.
We haven't seen the Citrus Berry, so I think perhaps it's safe to assume it's a Mental Herb perhaps?
True, but it also could be one of the, perhaps a Chesto or Lumberry variant to fight against Dark Void better.
That is true.
It's not entirely possible, we've seen it around here and there. Safe to say, I guess, that what item Kid is running on his Crest and what Nelson chooses to bring on turn 1 could make or break this game if Kid chooses to lead with, in my opinion, the obvious superior option here. Well, we're about to jump into the game. We'll have to see what how players are choosing to shake up this game. This could decide this set. And okay,
no changes from Nelson this time. Standing out the Kangaskhan and Rayquaza once again. Kid opts to change it up, going for the
Kangaskhan and Tornadus.
So the Tailwind perhaps coming up on Kid Ming this game.
Interesting option, I guess. Wasn't really expecting to see that. Although now, on hindsight, it does make quite a bit of sense, I guess. Tailwind actually gives Kid the option to pressure a bit more with Kangaskhan as compared to how Tailwind would. And given that Kangaskhan is the only Mega option he has on his team, can be certain that it's going to be punching a few holes here and there. And it does allow Zygarde to play a bit more of a useful role. Although I'm not really sure why Kid is still opting to trying to power his way through with Zygarde instead of Ferrothorn, when I think Ferrothorn provides the better option here.
I suppose if he's going for the pure Tailwind road.
Yeah, and it is interesting because right now Kid is deterring Nelson from Mega-ing his Rayquaza, since it would effectively make Tornadus free of weaknesses, which is quite an interesting scenario to see.
I believe Tornadus is still not going to enjoy taking a Dragon Ascent from the Rayquaza.
That's true.
Unless, of course, it is Sash. And looking at the rest of Kid Ming's team, perhaps the Sash is on the Tornadus.
Yeah, would not be hard to believe that. Although, hate to say this, but either way, it seems a bit hard, seems a bit far-fetched to believe that Tornadus is going to be putting much offensive pressure on any of Nelson's Pokemon on the field right now, since Tornadus typically rely on Hurricane, which, I don't know, doesn't really seem to work out here. Apart from Hurricane, Tornadus doesn't
Nelson
really have
chooses to
any
Mega the
high-power
Kangaskhan once again. Is he going to go for the same play of double targeting Kid's Kangaskhan? As Kid does Mega his Kangaskhan.
It's quite likely we're going to see a fake out come out from Nelson's side. Though the question is which he will go for. I'm guessing Kid's Kangaskhan. Okay, fake out does come off.
Go for the fake out into the Kangaskhan.
Yep,
Nelson perhaps opting for the same play as he did previously, with the Dragon and Sand going into the Kangaskhan slot. Tornadus will get the attack off. Tornadus does get the Tailwind off. So Kid will be carrying the speed advantage for the next 3 turns. So if Nelson goes for the Dragon Sand here, the Kangaskhan will be down on turn 1 once again.
Well, if Ken goes down, that'll be quite an issue for Kid.
Yep, Kangaskhan goes down once again. So Kid probably saw that coming and perhaps decided that it was worth the trade.
I guess that's one way to rationalize it, but I don't really see it working out in the long run. Like I said, Kid's Tornadus doesn't really have many high power damage output options, given that he doesn't have rain on his side, so he's not going to be able to use Hurricane. So Groudon now comes in with the speed advantage, so I guess it does potentially threaten a Rock Slide actually, or Dragon Claw if Kid's running that.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Though it has to be said that Groudon is not going to get its boost from its fire attacks because Desolate Land is being negated by Rayquaza's error.
I'm really interested to see what attacks Kid is actually running on his Tornadus, given that running Tornadus and Groudon together seem to be rather counterproductive.
Perhaps we will see what was it? The
Air
fling,
Slash?
the fling Razor Fang perhaps. The lock one of Nelson's mons down for the turn.
Which would allow Tornadus to get you to capitalize on acrobatics, but
yeah, that's
not something we've seen in a long time, so would be very interesting to see, but I don't think that's really likely.
Groudon's going to have to pick who he wants to attack. Fire Punch probably not enough without the boost from the Sun to KO the Kangaskhan. But as you said, a Rock Slide from Groudon will probably do the trick, especially with Rayquaza.
Well, I guess the obvious play for Nelson's side would be to go for a Protect sometime this turn, just to help stall out Tailwind. Rayquaza is definitely a valuable asset to his team, so
Tornadus is actually switching out, perhaps going back for the Zygarde. Yes, it is the Zygarde once again. So Kid going for the full Tailwind mode, not caring about bringing the Ferrothorn in the slower mode. And yes, Rayquaza does go for the Protect, and Kid shakes his head, perhaps the Rock Slide did come out this turn. Or he goes for the Dragon Claw into Rayquaza, and Kangaskhan gets a free double edge into the Groudon, I suspect. No, into the Zygarde.
Zygarde's going to be taking a lot, though it will survive. But that puts it in Sucker Punch range, not a good place to be when facing off against Kang. And although it's kind of early into the game, I hate to say it, but I think Nelson has this game locked down. It's going to be really hard for Kid to pull this off despite the speed advantage.
If Nelson does have Xerneas at the back, then it's a very easy switch for the Rayquaza into the Xerneas to take the incoming Dragon Claw. And without the boost from the fire attack, without the boost from the Sun, he's not going to be able to kill Kangaskhan with Fire Punch either. So Nelson really has no options to clean off any of Nelson's Pokemon this turn, unless Nelson keeps Rayquaza in for whatever reason.
Yeah, Nelson's going to have no difficulty stalling out Tailwind at this rate. Even if he does choose to perhaps sacrifice his Rayquaza this turn, he's going to be able to bring in something else the next turn, probably Xerneas, pull off a Protect, and that's going to hurt. Yeah, that's gonna suck for Kid because he's going to lose the speed advantage by then. Because switching out, probably Nelson trying to
brings in the Smeargle, who's probably sashed and will be able to take a hit. Rock Slide comes out, Kim-Ming probably needs a flinch on the Kangaskhan this turn. Stand any chance. Oh, actually from the Zygarde this turn. Fire Punch comes out this time with the boost from the Sun, and it will KO the Kangaskhan. So Kim-Ming down to, I believe, one last turn of Tailwind.
Which isn't good news if Nelson's going to bring in
but the problem being now that Nelson's Rayquaza is now refreshed and can protect once again.
That's probably going to be the Nelson's win condition here, bringing Rayquaza in safely, waiting for Tailwind to expire. And that's just by stalling this last turn, so Zygarde perhaps can knock itself out with its Life Orb recoil. Sacrificing Smeargle here doesn't seem like too bad an option really, since all Nelson's need to clean this game up really is just bring in Rayquaza and get its
Rayquaza does come back out, so it's time to see whether it does carry the extreme speed. Though again, he has a very safe option of spiky shielding and protecting to stall out the last turn of Tailwind.
I guess Nelson's best option here is definitely to protect Rayquaza, no question about that. What he chooses to do with Smeargle though could potentially be big. It could give him a much stronger advantage really, since it's hard to really predict what tricks Nelson Smeargle has up his sleeve right now. Yeah. I guess Kid really has to put on the offensive pressure right now. He can't, nothing else he can do really. But either way, I imagine it'll be really hard for him to pull himself out of this game, since Nelson has played these 3 turns of Tailwind so well, giving him such an overwhelming advantage right now. Okay, we do see Kid switching out Zygarde.
Perhaps predicting the double protect from Nelson's side, bringing in the Tornadus to perhaps reset Tailwind if both of his opponents protect. Oh, but Rayquaza protects, so I believe the Groudon went for the Dragon Claw. It did go for the Dragon Claw into the Rayquaza, and Smeargle will get the Dark Void off, and it hits at least one of Kid Main's Pokemon.
Well, not quite sure what Kid was going for there, honestly.
Avoids the Groudon, but nails the Tornadus, who will not be able to reset Tailwind next turn.
Which is
Leaving
definitely
Groudon
big.
an open target to the Waterfall from the Rayquaza.
Quite hard to see Kid pulling himself out of the situation right now. I'm not really sure whether Dragon Claw was the right call there, since I thought that Rayquaza's protect would be really obvious. Pressuring Smeargle would probably have been better.
Though I suppose Kid didn't really want the spiky shield damage.
True. Prisma's Blaze maybe? I don't know. Either way, I don't think hitting Rayquaza would have been the best play, since Nelson's absolutely no reason
Kid needs to protect Groudon and hope that Tornadus gets a 1-turn sleep to reset Tailwind.
Okay, Follow Me coming off. Tornadus is going to take this turn of sleep though. Let's see what Nelson goes for. Probably the Waterfall to Groudon.
Or even the Dragon Ascent. Dragon Ascent into Tornadus. Is it going to be enough to KO? Or I believe it is carrying the Sash though. Yes, the Tornadus is carrying the Sash. So even with the critical hit, not going to be enough. So Kid is going to need the Tailwind to go off next turn with Tornadus waking up.
Guess he could switch in Zygarde now into
The Groudon slot.
So, and sacrificing it, since Zygarde probably isn't going to be doing too much for the rest of this game. And I guess...
Yeah, all of Kid's hopes really hinge on
Yeah.
getting the 1-turn sleep right now.
And being able to seal off the endgame with Groudon sweep, really. But even then, it's a bit of a long shot if you ask me, since we do see that...
Slash at the back.
Yeah, we do see that Kid has to rely on Dragon Claw to take out Rayquaza. Okay, he does bring in Zygarde as we have anticipated, to take whatever attacks are being thrown at it, probably the Waterfall. And Kid really needs this 1-turn sleep right now to have any chance of pulling out this game. Is he gonna get it? We're about to see. He does!
He goes for the Air Slash to KO the Smeargle, assuming it does. So Smeargle, not that bulky amount after all. And perhaps actually a good move if he predicts the Waterfall into the other slot, because now Tornadus will survive to the next turn and get a Tailwind off for free as well.
Indeed, not really what we were expecting. Although I'm guessing right now that Kid is actually hinging on the fact that Nelson's Rayquaza does not run Extreme Speed as we have guessed earlier.
Oh, but the thing is, oh, it's true, that's true.
Yeah, so this match could really depend on whether, as we mentioned earlier,
Nelson carries the extra speed.
Although the fact that Kid has revealed his, Nelson has revealed his last Pokemon to be Aegislash is good news for Nelson, since
He can Fire Punch it for the KO.
good news for Kid.
Or even with Blades.
And
Once he clears the Rayquaza.
And once Tailwind is up, he has no real... the fact that we've seen that Kid's running Dragon Claw gives him quite a good shot at wiping out Rayquaza once Tailwind comes up. I guess it's better in this case to be for Kid. The fact that Kid's running Dragon Claw, it's much better than the conventional choice, which would be Rock Slide.
Because he wouldn't be able to hit through the White Guard.
Yeah. The fact that Nelson didn't bring Xerneas now gives Kid a bit more free reign, since Kid has to be less worried about giving Rayquaza's partner a free turn, since Aegislash isn't really going to be taking down Groudon one-on-one.
Though I suppose if Aegislash carries a Shadow Sneak, but Shadow Sneak is will still be out priority by the Tailwind.
Yeah.
So
really hinges on whether Nelson has extreme speed right now.
Yeah, it all hinges on the extreme speed.
And that's gonna decide this game, in my opinion.
Nelson taking his time to make his move.
Well, I guess although I mentioned earlier that Nelson's, I thought that Nelson's win condition would...
No extreme speed, and for that matter, no... Oh, Air Slash gets the critical hit and takes out the Rayquaza. So no extreme speed from the Rayquaza, and no need for the Tailwind, in fact. As Fire Punch goes into the Aegislash, boosted by the Sun, we are going to a Game 3. Kid pulling that match back from the abyss.
I guess, yeah, good that Kid recalled that Nelson's Rayquaza was still sitting at base 95, since
90.
typically most of us are...
90.
Isn't it 95? Rayquaza's 95. I'm pretty sure Rayquaza's 95.
Rayquaza is 90.
It's 95. Okay, we'll settle that later. Yeah, but either way, I guess it's good that Kid remembered that Rayquaza's speed wasn't boosted, since most of the time we would be imagining Rayquaza sitting at 115.
Though, how many defense drops had the Rayquaza accumulated at that?
Yeah, that's what I wondered too.
I think it was only one.
1, 2, not sure.
If it's 2, then I believe the critical didn't matter. But if it was 1, then Kid may have gotten lucky there. Though of course, he might have gotten the flinch anyway.
Yeah, the odds are really in his favor, if you ask me. I guess it's if Tornadus had its full special attack investment, it wasn't really a decent... I mean, it would give him decent odds there. stab, air slash, coming off Tornadus' relatively high special attack isn't really something you should scoff at. Just bringing up Rayquaza's Pokédex entry here now, just check its base speed. Pretty sure it's just a 95.
The more I think about it, the more I think you're right, but let's vindicate that.
I mean, I used it last week, I should know. Yep, sitting at base 95.
Alright, I stand corrected. We are going to game 3 with Nelson probably not having to adjust too much, since Kid really needed a lot of factors to pull his way in the previous game.
And seems to me that I guess Nelson's best chance would be to bring Xerneas instead of Aegislash. But although I did mention earlier that Aegislash was really a pivotal part of Nelson's team in this matchup against Kid. Seems to me that given Kid's new strategy, which is to be hinging on Tailwind more, Nelson would be much better off bringing Xerneas to match Tailwind speed boost with Geomancy. And I don't think Nelson's going to have much difficulty setting up Geomancy against Kid's team. Yeah, probably needs to bring Xerneas in the back.
So changing it up from Nelson this time, bringing out the Crobat and Kangaskhan, still offering the same one-hit KO potential on the first turn, with a Super Fang and a Double Edge into either one of.
But Kid also choosing to switch up his leads with Zygarde Tornadus. Guess he was anticipating Xerneas probably. I'm not really sure whether I like Nelson's lead, since Crobat Kang is actually quite passive. Given the nature of this format.
Nelson could get his Tailwind up this turn by fake outing the Tornadus and getting Tailwind up with his Crobat.
That doesn't really prevent him from setting up Tailwind the next turn.
That's true.
So
because Crobat does not have the
best option would probably take out Tornadus and prevent any further late game Tailwind shenanigans.
So perhaps a double target with the Super Fang and Double Edge.
Well, given that Zygarde Tornadus probably isn't going to be able to taking out Kangaskhan, I don't see any reason for Nelson to not go for the Double Edge on Tornadus right now and the Tailwind and Crobat, since that would give him quite a decent momentum here. Okay, Kangaskhan Mega evolving once again. Not a mistake this time. Is he going to go for the Double Edge or the Fake Out?
I believe the Fake Out gives him the most options.
Okay.
So Tornadus predicting perhaps the Fake Out incoming and goes for the Protect. Zygarde.
Yep,
Fake Out does go on to the Tornadus. Crobat does get his Tailwind up. Though, again, like you said, it doesn't stop Kid from getting his own Tailwind up next turn.
Strength of running Prankster Tailwind. And Lance Rev comes out onto Kangaskhan. Probably not going to do too much despite the Life Orb.
I believe Nelson's Kangaskhan not the bulkiest Kangaskhan today. He's running a rather faster variant. Though again, Kid will get his Tailwind up this turn, and his Tailwind will expire later than Nelson's.
Which could
giving him one
matter later
turn.
on.
Yeah, the last turn of Tailwind or Kid could be pivotal.
Still, not very sure how Kid's going to be able to seize momentum here, since he's not going to be able to take out Crobat right now. Not with Tornadus and Zygarde.
So of course he could go for a Protect Tailwind play by protecting Zygarde and Tailwinding with his Tornadus, predicting a double target into the Zygarde.
True, but I think his best option actually here is perhaps calling the... hoping that Nelson calls that.
Maybe if he bought the Ferrothorn, he could switch it in and hoping to catch
the
Kangaskhan attack. But Ferrothorn would be a very strong option here.
But losing the Tailwind option sounds like too much to me. I think Kid really needs to get the Tailwind off right now for the any chance of winning.
Yep, he does go for the Protect Tailwind, I believe.
Okay, does Nelson overthink this turn?
Tailwind does go up with Tornadus Prankster. Does Nelson overthink it and go for the double target onto the Zygarde? So Crobat goes for the Super Fang. He goes into the Zygarde. Double Edge. No, Double Edge goes into Tornadus. It should be enough, I believe, to take out the Tornadus, and it does. Yep. The first hit bringing it all the way down to
probably Sash. A crit, right? Was it a crit? No, not a crit. Okay.
It's just that frail.
Didn't really expect that. Given that it has, you wouldn't really
79-70. Yep.
Didn't really expect that, given that it has similar base stats to Thundurus, and Thundurus have been attacking Double Edges all last year.
But Nelson does have the Crobat, which is probably the fastest thing on the field right now.
Guess it's worth noting though that Nelson's Kang is actually in Lance Rev KO range right now.
So it's forced to Sucker Punch.
And Kid's, we've seen that Kid's Kangaskhan is slower though, so he's not going to be able to Sucker Punch Nelson's Kang. No, Crobat now actually has to be a bit concerned, since Kang is going to be able to do some damage, sizable damage to it. If not, wiping it out completely depends on what set Nelson's running. So
Crobat is pretty frail actually. I don't think he's running.
I'm guessing Nelson's going to want to switch out Kang right now, since he's.
I believe Nelson's Fake Out actually carries attack investment, since he's running the Brave Bird.
Oh, so that'll be interesting to see. Yeah, but either way, I think Nelson's best play right now is really to switch out Kang. Fake Out is pretty obvious if you ask me. I don't think he's running Protect. So the question is, did he bring Aegislash?
Really need the Fake Out though, knowing that it is within Lance Rev KO range, and that Zygarde is likely faster than the Kangaskhan.
Well, given that both players are sitting at both players have Tailwind up right now, Crobat firing off Super Fang and an attack from Kang into from Nelson's Kang into Kid's Kang is quite a scary thing right now. So I do think that Fake Out would be the would be one of the best options Kid has up his sleeve right now. Since Zygarde isn't really threatening Crobat, and hate to say it, but I think right now Kid actually needs to take out Crobat in order to get with the game, even though we tend to think of Crobat as being a bit too passive.
No switches coming out from Nelson. So either leaving himself open to the fake out or perhaps carrying a surprise protect.
I would expect the fake out now. Is it going to come off?
No fake out coming out from Kid actually, as Lufeng goes first into the Zygarde. Though Zygarde will get the Lance Rev off to KO the Kangaskhan, unless Kid gets struck by some really low damage roll this turn.
Well,
he does bring down the Kangaskhan.
I guess that shows us that Nelson's Kang is actually relatively bulky as well, since Zygarde sits at actually a lower base speed than Mega Kangaskhan. And Kid's Zygarde probably has maximum speed investment.
Into the Crobat, probably able to survive, especially with the Citrus Berry. Though, I suppose would Nelson be better off having his Crobat sack this turn?
Remains to be seen, I guess. Crobat does still have the Super Fang option, which is going to help whatever Nelson's backing, pick off Kid's Kangaskhan. Especially since Nelson only has that last turn of Tailwind to pull that off really before Kid gets that one turn where he has the speed advantage, which Nelson really has to play around carefully. Yes, it's a no-brainer that we're about to see one of Nelson's restricted Pokemon come in, really.
Oh, unless he brings in the Smeargle.
In that case, he's going to be losing either Xerneas or Rayquaza, which would suck for him, really. Now's actually a decent time for Xerneas to come in, since it's going to be able to take out Zygarde at that health. And with Super Fang support, it's going to be cool.
He does bring up the Smeargle. So, Nelson opting to leave one of his restricted Pokemon at home.
Not really sure how that's going to work out for him right now, since
Zygarde
he is actually wasting one of his last precious Tailwind turn.
So that being
with two
said,
Pokemon with almost no offensive pressure whatsoever.
I believe his Crobat's Brave Bird should be enough to take out the Zygarde at this range. Removing the threat of the Lance Rev.
Yeah.
Oh, but he actually switches Crobat out into, I believe, the Groudon. It is the Rayquaza. Sorry, Groudon. He doesn't have Groudon. Into the Rayquaza.
Well,
so his Rock Slide coming out, hitting the Rayquaza, switch in, fishing for a flinch on the Smeargle.
That flinch could be big, or if Kid chooses to double onto the Smeargle.
Oh, he does go for a double edge. The Smeargle slower than the Kangaskhan.
And Smeargle goes down. That is big. Now Kid has one turn left of Tailwind. And okay, although Nelson can probably opt to protect this next turn. But with Crobat and Rayquaza left, that's not really
I believe
too fantastic a position.
I highly doubt Crobat is carrying the Tailwind. I highly doubt Crobat is carrying the Protect. My pardon.
Well, I guess... Either way, I guess it's quite obvious that Nelson's going to go for the Protect here. And so if Kid is going to be able to deal off...
I suppose now will be the time to reveal Extreme Speed if he's been concealing it all this time.
Doubt. So I guess his best option now is for Kid is just to target Crobat, since he does have the speed advantage. Crobat probably isn't going to Protect, and that'll prevent Nelson from getting up his own Tailwind if he does have it. But the big question right now is whether or not Kid's going to be able to pull this off, assuming he does have Groudon in the back. Quite likely... I guess it might be a problem if he chooses to ignore Rayquaza this turn. And, if some really bad luck happens with Rock Slide, that could give Nelson a shot. Although either way, I think Kid does have an overwhelming advantage here. Okay,
Rayquaza does protect, so no protect from the Crobat, probably not.
As long as Kid connects his attacks with Crobat this turn.
Rock Slide goes off into the Crobat. He connects with the Crobat, brings down the Crobat, and...
That looks like game to me.
That looks like game, with Nelson's Rayquaza not having any spread options, and Kid having 3 Pokemon remaining. This game should be game, with probably the Groudon at the back as his last Pokemon.
Definitely a fantastic set here, since we actually do see Zygarde doing some work. And Zygarde, something any of us expected to see here.
And, well, I believe Zygarde and Rayquaza is a speed tie. Kid did allude to it previously in his Swiss game. So, we're just going to see if Zygarde can win this speed tie and take the game for Kid.
Well, regardless, I think Kang has no real reason not to just go for the sucker right now.
True.
Since, assuming...
Yep, goes for the sucker punch. So no defense drops on the Rayquaza yet, so probably not going to be enough.
Oh, that's definitely going to be enough for Rock Slide to pick it off. So what's going to happen? Dragon Ascent coming off.
Rayquaza does win the speed tie. For all the good it does him, we'll probably go for the Kangaskhan, and Zygarde will be left to clean up the game for Kid Ming.
Well, either way, assuming Kid's going to bring in Groudon now, that is game regardless, since Rayquaza has to choose between picking off...
Oh, but actually kills itself with Life Up Retort, so doesn't give Zygarde a chance to finish the game. No hype finish. But Kid does take the set.
Safe to say though that regardless, Zygarde did play a very, very, very crucial part in stealing off this game, and was probably the star of Kid's team in this last battle. So
a rather questionable switch from Nelson that turn, switching the Rayquaza in, but in fact, perhaps not a bad switch, but Kid making a great read on the switch in.
Indeed. Well, either way, that is this game, and surprise, surprise, we see Zygarde helping taking the set.
Zygarde moving on to the top 4. I believe the last Zygarde remaining.
Is it?
Yeah, I
Well,
strongly
wouldn't really be
suspect Justin
surprised.
dropped to Melvin. So.
I am already surprised enough to see Zygarde here, so given that we were coming here with solely with the objective of putting Zygarde on the usage stats and somehow or other seeing it make it this far to the top 4, that's miraculous, really.
Alright, so we'll actually be moving straight to the top 4 game after this, but we're going to take a very brief break and we will be back.